The assessment, the morning sun cast long shadows across the Nevada testing ground as Commander Sarah Chen adjusted her uniform one final time. 6 months had passed since the hegemony made first contact with Earth, and today would determine humanity's place in the galaxy. 3 alien ships hung motionless in the desert sky, their sleek forms catching the light like polished obsidian. "Remember, we show them exactly what they expect to see," Admiral Marcus Torres whispered beside her. The grizzled veteran had spent 30 years preparing for conflicts that never came, and now faced visitors from the stars with the same steady calm he brought to every briefing. A shimmering portal opened near the observation platform, and 3 figures stepped through. Zixhai moved with the precise grace of his insectoid species, his forearms gesturing in patterns that Sarah had learned meant curiosity mixed with mild amusement. The second alien, Veltar, stood nearly 8 feet tall, his reptilian features scanning the human weapons with professional interest. The third remained silent, a floating sphere of energy whose purpose Sarah could only guess at. "Welcome back to Earth," Sarah said, activating the translation device that hung around her neck. "We're honored to demonstrate our defensive capabilities." For the hegemony's assessment, Zixhai's mandibles clicked in what passed for a smile among his people. "Commander Chen, your species continues to surprise us with your enthusiasm. Please proceed with your demonstration." The first display began with a thunderous roar as an M1 Abrams tank fired its main gun across the desert. The shell struck a concrete target 2 miles away, sending debris flying in all directions. Human observers cheered while the aliens watched with polite interest. "Impressive kinetic force," Veltar noted, his translator rendering his hissing voice into flat English. "Chemical propulsion, I assume? Very traditional." Sarah nodded, hiding her irritation behind a diplomatic smile. "Our tank forces represent the backbone of our ground defense." She didn't mention that these same tanks were already being retrofitted, with alien energy cores in hidden facilities across the planet. The demonstration continued with F-22 Raptors screaming overhead, their engines leaving contrails in the clear desert air. The pilots performed combat maneuvers that would have been impossible just months earlier, enhanced by subtle modifications that the alien observers couldn't see from their vantage point. "Atmospheric flight only," Zixhai observed, making notes, on a device that looked like liquid mercury held in the shape of a tablet. "Maximum velocity appears to be inadequate for space combat. Tell me, Commander, what is your fastest spacecraft?" Sarah gestured toward a launch pad in the distance where a modified shuttle sat waiting. "This is our most advanced vessel. It can reach low orbit and maintain position for approximately 2 weeks." The shuttle lifted off with a roar of conventional rockets, climbing slowly into the blue sky. What the aliens couldn't see were the ion drives hidden within its hull, or the fact that humanity had been secretly launching similar vehicles every night for the past 3 months. Veltar's scaled head tilted in what might have been disappointment. "Reaction mass propulsion. Limited range, minimal payload capacity. This explains why your species has not ventured beyond your own moon." The final demonstration involved a detonation that lit up the desert like a second sun. The nuclear device vaporized a mountain in seconds, sending a mushroom cloud high into the atmosphere. For a moment, even the aliens seemed impressed by the raw destructive power. "Now this shows promise," Zixhai admitted, his compound eyes reflecting the fading light of the explosion. "Atomic fission, yes? Crude but effective for planetary bombardment. We have approximately 5,000 such devices," Admiral Torres said, speaking for the first time, each one capable of destroying a city, the energy being pulsed with colors that the translation device rendered as laughter. 5,000? How delightfully primitive. The Hegemony's standard patrol ship carries antimatter charges equivalent to 10 million of your weapons. Sarah felt her jaw clench but maintained her composure. "We understand that our technology cannot compare to the Hegemony's achievements. We're eager to learn and grow through peaceful cooperation." As the demonstration concluded, the 3 aliens conferred in their own languages, their words a mixture of clicks, hisses, and harmonic tones that hurt human ears. Finally, Zixhai turned back to the waiting humans. The Hegemony Council has reached its decision regarding Earth's classification, he announced. Your species will be granted limited member status. You may engage in trade within your solar system and receive selected technologies deemed appropriate for your development level. What are the restrictions? Sarah asked, though she already knew the answer. Standard limitations for Class 7 civilizations, Veltar replied. No military expansion beyond your home system. No development of faster-than-light weapons. No interference in conflicts between advanced species. In exchange, you receive protection under the Hegemony Charter and access to basic interstellar commerce. The energy being added its own commentary through rapid color changes. Your weapons are quaint but harmless to any serious military force. This arrangement ensures your safety while preventing unfortunate incidents. Admiral Torres stepped forward, his weathered face showing nothing of what Sarah knew he must be feeling. And if we refuse these terms, then you remain isolated until such time as your species achieves true space capability, Zixhai said simply, which our projections indicate will require approximately 300 of your years, assuming steady progress. Sarah nodded slowly. We accept the Hegemony's generous offer. When will the first trade vessels arrive? Within one standard galactic month, Veltar replied. We will establish a station beyond your moon to facilitate commerce. Your primitive chemical rockets should be adequate for the short journey. As the aliens prepared to depart, Zixhai paused beside Sarah. Commander, I must say your species handles disappointment well. Many civilizations react with anger when they learn their true place in the galaxy. We're a practical people, Sarah replied. We understand that wisdom lies in accepting what we cannot change. The aliens vanished through their portal, leaving behind only the faint smell of ozone and the lingering echo of their translator devices. Sarah and Admiral Torres stood in silence as the alien ships rose into the afternoon sky, growing smaller until they were lost among the stars. How long before they're completely gone from the system? Torres asked quietly. Sarah checked her wrist display. 37 minutes. Long-range sensors show their jump signature building. Good. Send the activation code. Sarah pulled out a communicator that looked identical to standard military equipment, but carried signals on frequencies the aliens had never thought to monitor. All stations, this is Lighthouse 1. Execute Protocol Omega. Repeat. Execute Protocol Omega. Across the Earth and throughout the solar system, responses came back in quick succession. Luna Base acknowledged from their hidden complex beneath the moon's surface. Mars Station confirmed from their position disguised as a research outpost. The asteroid belt facilities reported ready from installations the aliens had mistaken for mining operations. Most importantly, the shipyards answered. 14 separate construction facilities that had been building humanity's real fleet, while the aliens watched primitive rockets struggle to reach orbit. Each yard had been carefully concealed, their energy signatures masked by techniques learned from studying alien sensor technology during the past 6 months of trade negotiations. How many ships? Torres asked, though he already knew the numbers by heart. 112 completed, another 47 in final assembly, Sarah replied. Each one equipped with hybrid drive systems, adaptive armor, and weapons the Hegemony has never encountered. Torres smiled for the first time in months. And they think we showed them everything. They saw exactly what we wanted them to see, Sarah confirmed. Chemical rockets that barely work, nuclear weapons that can't threaten a modern starship, atmospheric fighters that can't leave the planet. They didn't see the quantum tunneling drives we reverse-engineered from their own cargo scans. They didn't notice the metamaterial hulls that can reconfigure for any mission. They certainly didn't detect the AI systems we've been developing in the deep ocean facilities. Admiral Torres walked to the edge of the observation platform, looking out at the desert where humanity had just demonstrated its supposed limitations. In the distance, he could see the launch pad where another primitive shuttle was being prepared for what the aliens thought was a simple supply run to the International Space Station. What they didn't know was that this shuttle, like dozens of others, carried components for the growing fleet. Every launch had been dual purpose, delivering legitimate cargo while secretly assembling the tools of war in hidden orbital platforms. The hegemony made one critical error, Torres said quietly. They assumed that because our visible technology is primitive, our capacity for deception must be equally limited. Sarah joined him at the platform's edge. They've been the dominant power for so long that they've forgotten what it's like to be underestimated. They project their own arrogance onto everyone they meet. How long before we're ready for full deployment? 18 months, maybe less if the deep space trials continue on schedule. The crews have been training in simulator pods that provide full sensory immersion. By the time we reveal the fleet, every captain will have years of combat experience in virtual battles. Torres nodded approvingly. And the hegemony will continue their routine patrols, secure in the knowledge that Earth poses no threat to anyone. Commander Torres, came a voice from Sarah's communicator. This is Dr. Elizabeth Warren at the Titan Research Station. We've completed analysis of the alien hull fragments recovered from their landing craft. The metallurgy is advanced but not invulnerable. Our new plasma-based weapons should be highly effective. Excellent work, Doctor. Continue the analysis and prepare full technical reports for the fleet commanders. As the sun set over the Nevada desert, painting the sky in shades of red and gold, Sarah and Admiral Torres remained on the observation platform. Above them, the first stars were becoming visible, including several that weren't stars at all but humanity's hidden outposts preparing for a future the aliens couldn't imagine. You know what the most interesting part is? Sarah said as darkness fell around them. What's that? They're right about our weapons being primitive. Compared to their technology, everything we showed them today is obsolete. But they made the mistake of thinking that human ingenuity stops at the technology level. Torres chuckled grimly. They'll learn soon enough that the most dangerous thing about humanity isn't our weapons, it's our ability to adapt and survive against impossible odds. In the growing darkness, neither of them spoke about what would come next. The hegemony would establish their trade station, confident in Earth's harmlessness. They would begin regular commerce, never suspecting that every transaction provided humanity with more information about their technology, their tactics, and their weaknesses. Meanwhile, in the hidden shipyards scattered across the solar system, work would continue around the clock. Crews trained for battles they hoped would never come. Engineers pushed the boundaries of what was possible with hybrid, human-alien technology. Scientists searched for weaknesses in systems that had dominated the galaxy for millennia. The aliens had given humanity 18 months of peace, thinking they had neutralized any potential threat. Instead, they had given Earth's defenders 18 months to prepare for war. As the last light faded from the western sky, Sarah activated her communicator one final time. All stations, this is Lighthouse 1. The hegemony has departed. Phase 2 is now active. Begin final preparations. The responses came back from across the solar system, each one confirming that humanity's greatest deception was proceeding exactly as planned. Soon the galaxy would discover that underestimating the human species was a mistake that could only be made once. The revelation. 18 months had passed since the hegemony's assessment of Earth's military capabilities, and Captain Elena Rodriguez had spent every day of that time preparing for this moment. The bridge of the ESV Defiance hummed with quiet efficiency as her crew monitored displays showing the most devastating space battle in recorded galactic history. Ma'am, we're receiving the emergency broadcast from Hegemony Command. Lieutenant. Commander Jake Morrison reported from his communication station. They're requesting immediate assistance from all member worlds. Elena studied the tactical display showing the Kethmori invasion fleet. 300 ships of unknown design had emerged from dark space 6 weeks ago, crushing every military force sent against them. The ancient predator species had awakened from their million-year hibernation with technology that made even the hegemony's advanced weaponry seem primitive. What's our official status with Earth Command? Elena asked, though she already knew the answer. Still classified as a limited cargo transport, her executive officer, Commander David Park, replied with barely concealed amusement. According to hegemony records, we're carrying coffee and chocolate to the outer colonies. Through the bridge's main viewer, Elena could see 99 other ships maintaining perfect formation around the Defiance. To any observer, they appeared to be a modest collection of cargo haulers, research vessels, and mining platforms. The hegemony's sensors would detect nothing more threatening than fusion reactors and basic defensive systems. Signal from Admiral Torres on the flagship Prometheus, Morrison announced. All ships are to maintain stealth protocols until engagement authorization. Elena nodded, watching as the massive Kethmori vessels continued their systematic destruction of the Xerion defense fleet. The insectoid defenders fired everything they had, but their energy weapons simply disappeared into the strange dark matter hulls of the invading ships. "Captain," Dr. Sarah Kim called from the science station, "I'm detecting massive gravitational distortions around the Kethmori vessels. They're not just using dark matter for armor, they're weaponizing space-time itself." "Can our adaptive systems compensate?" "The quantum processors have been analyzing their attack patterns for the past 40 minutes, Kim replied. "Preliminary models suggest our metamaterial hulls can reconfigure to resist gravitational shearing, but we'll need real combat data to confirm effectiveness." A new voice crackled through the communication system, tinged with the harmonic overtones that marked it as hegemony military encryption. "This is Admiral Zethkul of the Combined Fleet. To all vessels in the Xerion system, we are implementing emergency protocols. Any ship capable of combat is ordered to assist in the evacuation of civilian populations." Elena exchanged glances with Commander Park. The proud hegemony was asking for help from species they considered barely capable of space travel. "Ma'am," Morrison said quietly, "I'm picking up a priority transmission on the old diplomatic channels. It's Zixhai." "Put him through." The insectoid alien's image appeared on the main screen, his usually pristine appearance disheveled, and his forearms moving in patterns that Elena's cultural training recognized as extreme distress. "Commander Chen, I am attempting to contact any Earth vessels in the area. The hegemony requires immediate assistance. Our projections indicate complete system collapse within 6 standard hours." Elena activated her response channel. "This is Captain Rodriguez of the Earth vessel Defiance. We received your distress call, Trade Commissioner. What can our humble cargo ships do to help?" Zixhai's mandibles clicked in frustration. "Captain, I understand your vessels have limited capability, but we need every ship to assist with civilian evacuation. Your holds may be primitive, but they can carry refugees." "Of course, Commissioner. We're honored to help." Elena cut the transmission and turned to her crew. "You heard the hegemony's request. Time to show them what our limited capability really means." She activated the ship-wide communication system. "All hands, this is the captain. For 18 months we've trained for this moment. Today we show the galaxy that humanity doesn't just build cargo ships, we build survivors." Around the human fleet, external hull panels began sliding away, revealing weapon systems that hadn't existed in any galactic database. The Defiance's true form emerged as metamaterial armor reconfigured itself into optimal combat geometry. What had appeared to be a simple transport vessel now bristled with adaptive plasma cannons, quantum torpedo launchers, and defensive systems that could analyze and counter any known weapon. "All ships report ready for combat," Morrison announced. "Admiral Torres is requesting permission to engage." Elena looked at the tactical display one more time. The Kethmori fleet had destroyed everything the hegemony threw at them, but they had never faced humans in battle. More importantly, they had never faced a species that spent its entire history learning to fight impossible odds. "Signal the Yao. Admiral, tell him it's time to introduce the galaxy to human warfare." The human fleet moved forward at speeds that should have been impossible for civilian vessels. Their hybrid drive systems, reverse-engineered from hegemony technology but improved with human innovation, allowed acceleration that would crush organic crews. The difference was that human ships didn't rely solely on organic crews. "Captain, the Kethmori fleet is changing formation," reported Lieutenant Chen from the tactical station. "They're moving to intercept us." "They probably think we're just another batch of primitives charging to our deaths," Elena replied. "Let them keep thinking that until we're in range." The first Kethmori vessel opened fire with weapons that bent space itself, creating distortions that would have torn apart any conventional ship. The attack struck the human formation dead center, exactly where Elena had positioned her flagship. And absolutely nothing happened. Metamaterial hull reconfiguration successful, Dr. Kim reported calmly. The armor adapted to the gravitational. Shearing in real time. Damage, 0. Elena smiled grimly. Now show them what happens when humans shoot back. The Defiance's main batteries opened fire, but not with energy weapons or kinetic projectiles. Instead, they launched something the Yao, Keth Mori had never encountered, quantum viruses designed to infect and disrupt exotic matter systems. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. The lead Keth Mori ship's dark matter hull began destabilizing as the virus spread through its quantum matrix. Within seconds, the massive vessel was tearing itself apart from the inside. All ships, engage at will, Elena ordered. Show them what human creativity looks like. What followed wasn't really a battle in the traditional sense. It was a demonstration of what happened when a species spent millennia learning to survive by adapting to any threat. The human ships didn't try to match the Keth Mori's superior technology. Instead, they used tactics that no galactic power had ever considered. Captain Lisa Nakamura's ship, the Endurance, deployed constructor drones that built weapons in real time from the wreckage of destroyed enemies. Captain Michael Rodriguez's vessel, the Persistence, used its mining equipment to literally digest Keth Mori ships and convert them into ammunition. The science vessel Discovery began broadcasting signals that caused the ancient Predator's navigation systems to attack their own fleet. But perhaps most shocking to the watching galaxy was the Prometheus, Admiral Torres's flagship. The massive vessel opened what appeared to be cargo bays, revealing not supplies or equipment, but fully functional shipyards. As the battle raged, the Prometheus was manufacturing new combat vessels from raw materials, deploying them faster than the Keth Mori could destroy them. "This is impossible," Zixhai's voice came through the communication channels. "Your ships, they're not cargo vessels at all." Elena activated her response while dodging gravitational weapons that could have crushed planets. "Commissioner, did you really think a species that survived ice ages, plagues, and global wars would build simple cargo ships?" The battle raged for 3 hours, but the outcome was never really in doubt. The Keth Mori had awakened expecting to face the same galaxy they had left 1,000,000 years ago, species that fought with energy and matter, following predictable patterns of military engagement. Instead, they found humans who fought with ideas, adaptation, and the kind of creative destruction that had made them the most successful predator on their home world. When the last Keth Mori vessel finally succumbed to a swarm of self-replicating, hunter-killer drones, and strange silence fell over the Zarian system, the hegemony's remaining ships hung motionless, their crews trying to process what they had witnessed. "Captain Rodriguez," Admiral Zethkul's voice came through the communication channels, tinged with something that might have been awe. What exactly did we just observe?" Elena looked around her bridge at the crew that had trained for this moment since humanity's first contact with galactic civilization. "You observed what happens when you underestimate a species that never had the luxury of assuming it was the strongest thing in its environment." She activated the fleet-wide channel. "All ships, begin recovery operations. We have refugees to evacuate, and a galaxy to rebuild." As the human fleet began rescue operations, Elena received a priority message from Earth. Admiral Torres's face appeared on her screen, his expression mixing pride with grim satisfaction. "Outstanding work, Captain. The Hegemony Council is requesting an immediate meeting to discuss humanity's revised classification in galactic society. I assume they're no longer interested in restricting us to our solar system?" Torres chuckled. "Funny thing about that. Turns out they're very eager to discuss full membership rights, including territorial expansion and military cooperation. They're also asking about our educational exchange programs for their military academies." Elena nodded, watching through her viewport as human ships continued operations that the aliens were still trying to understand. Constructor vessels were already beginning to rebuild the damaged orbital stations, but with improvements that made them stronger than the original designs. Medical ships were treating wounded aliens with techniques that combined human innovation with galactic medical technology. Science vessels were analyzing Keth Mori wreckage to ensure the threat was completely eliminated. What should I tell Commissioner Zixhai when he asks how we built all this in 18 months? Tell him the truth, Torres replied, that humans don't build things to meet minimum requirements. We build things to exceed every possible challenge we might face. As the communication ended, Elena reflected on the journey that had brought humanity to this moment. 18 months ago, the galaxy had looked at human technology and seen primitive weapons that posed no threat to anyone. They had completely missed the fact that human technology wasn't the danger. Human thinking was. The aliens had built powerful ships designed to fight other powerful ships. Humans had built adaptable ships designed to solve any problem they might encounter. The aliens had developed weapons to destroy their enemies. Humans had developed systems to turn their enemies' strengths into weaknesses. Most importantly, the aliens had created military doctrines based on their assumption that combat was about superior technology defeating inferior technology. Humans had created doctrines based on the understanding that every challenge was just another problem, waiting for a creative solution. Captain, Dr. Kim called from her station, I'm detecting additional Keth Mori signals from deep space. Looks like this was just their advance force. Elena smiled as she looked at the tactical display showing dozens of human ships still revealing new capabilities as they worked. Let them come. By the time they arrive, they'll discover that underestimating humanity twice is a mistake the galaxy won't survive. The bridge crew chuckled as they continued their work, confident in the knowledge that Earth's seemingly harmless cargo fleet had just become the most feared military force in the galaxy. And they had done it not by building better weapons, but by building better solutions to the problem of staying alive in a dangerous universe. The hegemony would never make the mistake of underestimating humanity again. More importantly, no other species would either. The galaxy had learned that when humans said they were just cargo ships, it was time to start asking what exactly they were carrying.